Yo, 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 welcome back. I'm James with PlayStation Ain't Dead, back with another playthrough and review. And we're taking it to the solar system this time in a game that wears its stars and stripes proudly on its sleeve. And I'm talking about Rogue Flight, done by Taunt Pixel and Perp Games on the PlayStation 5. So let's jump into it.
Video games, video games. I like to collect video games. Video games, video games. I like to collect video games.
Now, if you've been craving, a dose of classic arcade space combat with a modern twist, this one might be the one to check out. And the fact that it's physical, it makes this a no-brainer at that cost. And it's packed with goodies too, so you can't blame a physical nowadays that has a nice manual and some other goodies with it. So shout out to them for that. Definitely appreciate that, especially with the way things are going nowadays. But let's kind of talk about the pros of the game. Rogue Fight, it has this pretty cool anime aesthetic to it. As you're seeing here, that the first thing that kind of grabs me is like the visual style of it. It kind of gets its inspiration from like 80s and 90s anime, which I definitely love. So you can kind of see from like the character designs and spaceships, and almost like cell shaded environments that kind of catch your eye, which is really cool. If you grew up watching like shows like Gundam and Macross, you might hit that in your feels, as I would say. Now, apart from the aesthetic, the action is what we're talking about, baby. The action. This game is super fast-paced, adrenaline pumping action. I like to just even take the minute, just the small details of the character Nadia that you're playing. When she's on the screen in the bottom right corner and you see her picture, wherever you control the ship is like where her eyes are going. So just like the little details of that. You're constantly zipping, rolling, boosting through enemies, crazy amount of dogfights, just projectiles coming at you. Very tight controls, love that. Very, very cool. It definitely gives that arcade feel. And it has a lot of like deep customization. A lot of like unlockables that you can get. The game offers like over 100 lockable ship customizations, different badges, different arrays of designs and weapons. It's crazy how much work went into this game that you gotta definitely appreciate to kind of make your ship your own. And then shouts out to Taunt Pixel, that how the way they use the PS5 DualSense controller, the immersion with that controller, even definitely puts that cherry on top. So I love how game studios are using that extra bit of to make that game fine and make it more immersed. So feedback on the triggers is awesome. It kind of really pulls you in that cockpit area as well. And then two, this game has like multiple different endings. So the gameplay replayability of it doesn't just stop from the first playthrough. So I highly recommend when you get this game, definitely give it multiple times through, because depending on how you play it and how things go, there's different multiple endings. The story's not over complex, but there's different paths and stuff that you can go through to kind of get different endings. So, and then I love a game that has voice acting. To me anyways, like if I'm playing a game and I gotta read tons of different dialogue, it kind of bores me a little bit. So the fact that this voice acting in this game is top tier adds that other aspect to it. And like I said earlier, the soundtrack is amazing. Highly recommend. It's like a retro sci-fi vibe when it comes to the soundtrack too. So, and then it has different kind of roguelite and arcade game modes too. So like I was saying earlier, the replayability is up there, with different challenges I think that you can get. So without that being said, no game is perfect. So some of the cons that I would say with this one that I experienced, some of the visual clutter Some of the levels, you know, it seems like a lot is going on, which can get confusing to some people. So, you know, you think you're shooting at an enemy or things are in the way, and you might miss something or hit something. So visually, the clarity could be a little bit better at times. The gameplay loop, the action is exciting. Flying around could be a bit repetitive to some people, you know, over long sessions. So I mean, as with any game, you know, take breaks. You know, play a few levels, take a break, come back, you know, go at it again. So I wouldn't recommend playing this all through one sit through. But yeah, take breaks. You know, because some of the stuff can get repetitive, but that's without that's without saying. Like I said, the story is not very like. It's good, but it's not like super deep, but it's not like super engaging. So, but when I say that, I think going back and playing through multiple different times to get the ending that you know that works for you, can make this game, you know, feel right at home. And then the difficulty can have its spikes at certain times. Obviously, this is my playthrough, so there's a few times that I died through this, so it can be harsh, you know, especially with the big boss fights, things like that, and with the mix of like the clarity and visual stuff, a lot of things going on the screen could be hard. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's I feel like that's very minor stuff. No game is perfect, but this game does have a lot to offer. So, final verdict on this roguelite PlayStation 5 game. I would say it's definitely a fantastic love letter to classic 80s and 90s arcade space shooters, especially wrapped in like the anime aesthetic. You know, so if you're like a fan of high octane action, you know, a lot of customization, if you don't mind the visual chaos going on, you'll definitely have a blast with this one. And like I said earlier, what Tom Pixel did with the DualSense controllers, how they, you know, bring that another immersion into the gameplay is superb, and I think the overall presentation is definitely top tier. So I mean, for the price of this game, especially physical and the stuff that you get with it, the studio did an amazing job with this game. You know, the action pack, a lot of replayability to it, especially with the multiple different endings. Definitely give this one a go. I'll put a link down below where you can pick this one up physically. Obviously, it's in, you can get it digitally as well too. So, but you know me, you know I like my physical stuff, especially when it comes with a lot of goodies. But yeah, that is my review and playthrough of Rogue Flight for the PlayStation 5. I'm James with PlayStation Dead, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.